And that was the scene as the Kings take a 3-2 lead in the series against San Jose, a tidy 3-0 victory. I'm Charles E. Smith Jr. alongside one of my very dear friends and trusted colleagues, none other than the Mayor, John Hoven. Mayor John, you got to tell everybody about what's going on with mayorsmanor.com and, what's the latest?
Well, mayorsmanor.com, earlier today we had Logan Couture talking a lot about his good friend, actually, Drew Doughty, but selling him down the river a little bit about his love or lack of knowledge about the Toronto Blue Jays. So check that out. That's up right now on the homepage of Mayor's Manor. But other than that, just a lot of game day skate quotes and post-game quotes and all that normal fun stuff.
All right, and then also you're one of the more active members of Twitter. Do I dare even say more active? Probably the most active. Tweets to date, how many?
We're closing in on 30,000 tweets and inside of 100 followers to go for 10,000 followers. So follow Mayor NHL. Love to have you.
All right, fantastic. So anything you want to know about the Kings, because you follow the Manchester boys all the way up here when they make it into the bigs and everything. So he is the man when it comes to the Kings. But let's go ahead and start breaking down this series right here. Another great shutout for Jonathan Quick tonight. He started out the series with a 2-0 shutout, which really kind of may have saved the Kings behind a little bit in that game. But this game, the Kings come out after having been dominated in San Jose. I mean, the first period shots in Game 4 were 15-3 for the San Jose Sharks. Now, this time, it took them 3 periods to get to 15 shots.
You know, Daryl Sutter has made a lot about the stats throughout this series and saying don't pay too much attention to him because there's just some guy looking through his glasses up in the press box that's counting the shots and that sort of different stuff. But, mentioning Jonathan Quick, I'm reminded of Bob McKenzie talking about Wayne Gretzky in the 1993 Western Conference Finals, saying that Gretzky was playing like he had a piano on his back.
I remember that.
Of course, and that motivating Gretzky. And, not that you want to compare Jonathan Quick to Wayne Gretzky, but I would be a little bit concerned if I was a player around the NHL saying stuff about Jonathan Quick, because with TJ Gagliardi talking about Quick embellishing stuff, and then tonight he comes out and posts a shutout. You don't want to irritate Quick because he actually lets his words, I guess, he leaves them on the ice, if you will. So don't mess with Jonathan Quick. That's a bad man right there.
Yeah, that's true. And Jonathan Quick, as one of my other colleagues was saying, some of the best lateral movement, I think, of any goaltender in the league. And when you look at TJ Gagliardi, about that line, though, in Game 4, that line was so dominant. Joe Thornton with Brent Burns and TJ Gagliardi. But then tonight, out here, and really not really heard from much.
Well, Thornton was good in the face-off circle tonight. It's one game in a series, and as everybody knows at this point, it's been a home series, right? The home team has won all of the games up until now, and so the Kings are going to hopefully go up to, from their perspective, go up to San Jose and close the series out. And if not, then, that's the beauty of getting home ice advantage for the first time in 20 years. They can bring it back here to Game 7. But Joe Thornton is probably playing some of his best hockey in a Sharks uniform, in my opinion, and also in the opinion of, many up here on press row. His teammates don't seem to agree with that, though. I was talking with Scott Hannon earlier today. The quotes are, of course, up on mayorsmanor.com, and he said that he thinks that Jumbo gets a bad rap most of the time and that he has seen him dominate many games in his tenure there, not only this time since being reacquired by the Sharks at the trade deadline, but also in his previous tenure when he was in San Jose, Scott Hannon, that is. So he's a big supporter of the captain there, Joe Thornton.
Well, yeah, but you look at that last game, Game 4, and they were ranting and raving about it. If you look at all the network shows and things like that about that's the best they've ever seen Thornton play, and he was extremely dominant. But when I checked the stats in this game, and I know stats are like Play-Doh, you can make whatever you want out of them. However, he only had 2 shots through the first 2 periods of the game, and really that line, which was so dominant, really was nullified out here tonight. And look at the line shuffling that Sutter did tonight. He maybe kept a couple of guys together. Kopitar and Williams stayed together. Of course, Richards and Carter stayed together. But
inseparable.
That other right, the bromance of the NHL.
Hey, it works. I wouldn't break those guys up either. People talk about where you slot Tyler Toffoli, and you better find a different place to put him, because if he's going to play right wing, he's not playing with Jeff Carter and Mike Richards, because Richards belongs, at center and Carter there on the wing, and those two have to be together. But rather than the line changes and the differences there, I would look to the defensive pairings, because getting Matt Green back into the lineup, while it might not have been as noticeable in the last game up in San Jose, you saw it tonight. Things start to settle down. They didn't get as many chances. on the PK to really let Matt Green shine. But it's something that Captain Dustin Brown was even talking about after the game. And Matt Green, as always, downplayed it a little bit. When I asked him after the game tonight, did he feel a little bit better, and he just said felt good. I don't know if it was better or worse, but I felt good. And, every game he's going to get a little bit better. He's going to feel a little bit better. It's just like guys coming in out of training camp. Those first 5 or 6 games, they're still trying to get their legs under them. But if Matt Green can be effective, and as Daryl Sutter said this morning, play those kind of teen minutes, 12 to 15 minutes, the defense is going to be in real good shape because obviously the top 4 of Robin Regier and Drew Doughty and Rob Scuderi and Slava Voinov are playing outstanding.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I noticed, that they're obviously trying to limit Green's minutes at this point a little bit. I noticed that he hadn't played quite as much as he normally does.
Yeah, Sutter sidestepped that question when asked about it earlier today after the morning skate, but that's really nothing normal for Coach Sutter to not give you a straight answer. He's one of the best quotes in all of hockey, and he's a very intelligent guy and fascinating to listen to at times, but just don't expect a straight answer in a press conference. You really get your best answers from Daryl Sutter after the cameras are off and after the recorders are away, and you can't really
argue the stuff that you can't actually say.
The stuff that you can't say, the off-the-record stuff. You learn a lot, though. Obviously, a tremendous hockey history with him and his family, and he's been around the game, and he's done everything. He was a captain of an original 6 team and played there in Chicago for a long time. Coach, general manager, and you can't argue with his success here in Los Angeles since he took over about a year and a half ago.
That's true. And one of the other big things was everyone was talking about it, and that's another one of the things that the teams always downplay. But Anze Kopitar finally getting on the scoreboard in this game had to be kind of a monkey off his back, whether or not anyone admitted it when you were in the room there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, same thing. You go back to the morning skate this morning, and I remember asking Coach Sutter, was he working with Anze Kopitar, giving him any extra video time, any talking to? What was he doing, if anything at all, in this goal slump that he was in? I think 1 goal in 26 games or something like that. Yeah. And he played it off and just wanted to talk about the fact that Kopitar is one of the best players and he's an elite player in the National Hockey League, which there's no denying. That's all true. But when your number one center is not scoring, it's going to make it difficult, to beat a team like the San Jose Sharks. They're a very, very tough team, a very balanced team, and fortunately for Kopitar, he did get one there tonight. So the Kings have found a way to get scoring, even though they're not getting consistent scoring from really any one player. They found a way to get goals throughout this series and throughout the St. Louis series, and enough, now to take the lead 3-2. It'll be interesting to see what happens in Game 6 up in San Jose, because it's a tough building for the Kings to play in right now.
And one thing I liked about this game is that you can say in this game there was no doubt that the Kings they dominated this particular game. Each period, you can look at shots on goal. And we know some of them not all legitimate scoring chances, but they did play well every minute of the game here. And there were no real lapses, and Jonathan Quick was, as we talked about, just fantastic, outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, they dominated in the sense that there wasn't a sustained period of time. There wasn't a 3 to 8 minute period where you really felt like the Sharks were taking control of the game. It was a low-scoring affair, though, reminiscent of many Kings games over the last 2 years. So from that standpoint, the Kings were maybe only in control in the sense that they were leading on the scoreboard, but at any given moment, if a puck would have bounced in or if the Sharks could have gotten off a nice shot, put one past Jonathan Quick, it would have been a totally different game. It wasn't a laugher like we've seen in some of the Eastern Conference games. So, the Kings did come away with the win and on to Game 6 in San Jose, I guess.
Yeah, it's true. And you know what I like about this particular playoff run, however long it may last, this is really for all those who know the Kings and follow them for years. Last year was nice, that run to the Cup, but
nice.
It was fantastic.
It was just nice. Great. It was just nice. I mean, 45 years fans sitting on the edge of their seats waiting for a cup. It was nice. I mean, thanks for giving it up to the LA Kings of 2012. This is
the way, though, that the Kings go through a playoff series if you look through the history. I mean, like dropping the first 2 games against St. Louis and then winning the 4 straight. This series going however many, if it's going to go 6, if it's going to go 7, but there's always been a lot of drama.
Well, I don't know.
In Kings playoff.
I don't know. I mean, there has obviously been a lot of drama in the Kings playoff history. Right. But I don't know if that drama in this type of a playoff year is indicative of the Kings or if it's just more indicative of the National Hockey League. This is a more typical playoff run for any team. Last year was the aberration. You just don't go up 3-0 in every series. it's not heard of.
I don't think it had ever happened until
Yeah,
last year.
Even if a team goes up 3-0 in one series, the likelihood of them going up 3-0 in a second series is so astronomically high. Just forget about the fact of a team doing it in all four, series, which of course had never happened before. So this is a little more typical, where there's an ebb and flow. And again, back to Coach Sutter and how smart he is, and he's smarter than the rest of us. He's the one that's constantly been pointing out most series go 6 games, and he told us all year. I think it was last year when he gave us the epic quote. It's a 3-2 league. Well,
right.
It's a 6-game playoff league. So let's see if his statement holds true, and if the Kings can close out San Jose, up there in Northern California on Sunday Sunday early evening. I guess we're looking at.
Exactly. Well, it all depends on when what the Penguins and Senators do.
Yeah, 5 p.m. or 7 p.m. So
right,
go to church and get your brunch done early.
And are we going to see you in a caravan up north?
I will.
Get to that game,
I will be in San Jose. Yes, I will be there.
You will be there.
It's been so fun. I had so much fun earlier last week or this week, whatever the week was. I have to go back up there to the hated Northern California.
And one thing, I'll give it up for the San Jose Sharks is, as much as we like the Kings here, but that building up there in San Jose, those fans are absolutely fantastic. I mean, that place is loud. It rocks.
Yeah, the roof is a little bit lower there, and obviously there aren't as many levels of suites and stuff, but it's a loud building. It's a passionate fan base, and I also have a lot of respect, always will have a lot of respect for that organization. Going back to Luc Robitaille's final game in the National Hockey League, happened to be up there in San Jose. I was there for that game as well, and to see Ron Wilson, who was the coach at the time, and the entire Sharks bench come out to shake his hand was such a sign of true respect for, the greatest left wing to ever play in the game. I just have a lot of respect for that organization, and a tough battle also with San Jose just a couple of years ago when Andrei Kopitar was out. The Kings had a chance to beat that team. They kind of melted down here on home ice, if you will. But if they can close them out this year, that's going to just ramp up the intensity, and the rivalry between Northern California, Southern California, the Sharks, the Kings, and these two great organizations.
Yeah, fantastic. And the best thing about the Kings won tonight, so it means that no matter what, we will have more playoff hockey here in Staples Center, be it a Game 7 or be it, in the next round. But there's going to be some more hockey right here in Staples. Now, I love watching hockey live. It's just fantastic.
Is it good or is it fantastic?
It's fantastic. It's marvelous. It's off the hook, everybody.
Here we go.
Okay, so that's about it. We'll wrap it up here. This is a little Stanley Cup update featuring the Los Angeles Kings, myself, Charles E. Smith Jr., the mayor, John Hoven, over here. And we'll be back from time to time here and there. You never know where, popping up in the series, in the playoffs, to just, give you all a little taste of what's going on here. So, hey, thanks for joining me. Any last words for the fans out there?
No, thanks for having me on, Charles. I always appreciate stopping by and talking some hockey with you and your viewers. And just be sure to follow along Mayor NHL on Twitter and check out mayorsmanor.com.
All right, well, you can follow me at TheInsideSports, but I don't tweet nearly as much as this guy does. This is the guy you really need to follow. I'll go ahead and give it up to him.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll be back from Staples Center at some point here in these 2013 Stanley Cup playoffs.